And welcome back. Joining us this morning, we have Dr. James Baer, radiation oncologist. Thank you for joining us this morning, Dr. Baer.
Well, thank you for having me, Vicki.
So we were talking, it seems like when you get a diagnosis of cancer, a lot of emotions pop up. Treatment right away can scare people a lot. When is it needed because you specialize in the radiation treatments. So how does a person know that's going to be maybe one of the options on the table for them?
Well, the first thing is when someone gets a diagnosis of cancer, they're going to be talking with their primary physician, and then at some point they'll be sent to one of us in oncology to talk about their specific disease. And really, depending on, we have what we call staging, which is sort of looking at someone, doing whatever diagnostic tests we need to see how advanced their particular cancer is. And once you know that for the patient, that determines what we're going to do for what type of therapy they're going to get. And generally that falls into sort of two categories. There's local treatment for whatever cancer is found, and that would be either surgery or radiation. And then if their cancer has a risk of being spread, they'll also be recommended to get chemotherapy, which works throughout the body.
Okay, so how does it work if they have the option of radiation? I mean, sometimes you hear that the cure is worse than the disease.
Well, that's the one thing. The trouble with our society is people are always thinking about what they knew their grandmother had or whatever,
Right.
something that was from 30 years ago. And it used to be that people would have serious side effects from pretty much everything we did. At this point, the same way that computers have changed life in innumerable ways from how things were in the 70s. Now when we treat things, we're much more able to focus to where we can really get to within a millimeter or so of what we're doing in all three dimensions. And most people we treat keep working through treatment. I mean, our side effects just aren't that bad anymore.
That's amazing. And I guess that the biggest question is how do we go about deciding, what is the big deciding factors?
For whether or not we treat with radiation,
Yes.
is if someone needs treatment to something locally. So anytime someone has a mass in one area that we want to get rid of for whatever reason. And we can treat that. Sometimes we have people that we have to bring in daily for about 6 to 8 weeks or so. Each day takes them maybe 10, 15 minutes a day. There are other types of tumors that are localized that we can treat just with a single big dose of radiation or several big doses, but just over a couple of days.
That is amazing, and how much it has changed.
It really has. And again, I think the thing for me is, kind of as a summary point, anybody who gets a diagnosis, they hear the word cancer, they're going to be afraid of that at some point. I mean, that's just a normal thing.
Right.
But most people now, treatment doesn't have that much in the way of side effects. More people than not we treat, we end up walking away from it at the end of the day. And we've really come a long ways in what we can do for people. I think the other thing I'd like to say is, with the computer technology and new machines being the way they are, there's really no difference in the treatment somebody's going to get here in Marquette as they would if they went down to Mayo Clinic or MD Anderson or Sloan Kettering, anywhere in the country.
That is fantastic. It's great to know that we've got these treatment options right locally and we don't have to travel far.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to thank you so much for coming and helping to clear up some of the mystery around radiation treatments.
Oh, thank you very much for having me, and I hope it helps people out.
Fantastic. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. And coming up next month, we'll have another cancer spotlight treatment to start the new year off right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.